And here is the Writer's Almanac for Wednesday. It's the 4th of August, 2021. It was on this day in 1964 that the bodies of 3 murdered civil rights workers, James Chaney, Andrew Goodman, and Michael Schwerner, were found in an earthen dam outside Philadelphia, Mississippi. The 3 men, all in their 20s, had disappeared 6 weeks before while they were registering black voters against the opposition of the Ku Klux Klan. And according to the FBI, it was Schwerner the Klan really wanted. He was a white New Yorker. He had been particularly active in registering voters and organizing boycotts of Klan members' businesses. And the Klan got a tip that Schwerner would be at a meeting in Mount Zion Baptist Church, but when they arrived and found that he wasn't there, they burned down the building. Goodman and Chaney traveled with Schwerner to investigate the arson, and as they drove away from the church, their station wagon was pulled over by a sheriff's deputy, allegedly for speeding. They were jailed briefly, and after 10 o'clock that night, the deputy released them, and at the same time he alerted Edgar Ray Killen, a Baptist preacher and local leader of the Klan, who rallied other Klansmen to ambush and kill the 3 as they drove out of town. Although Killen and 18 other men were indicted the following year on federal charges of violating the 3 victims' civil rights, only 7 of them were convicted and none of them served more than 6 years in prison. State officials didn't pursue murder charges until decades later, and on the 41st anniversary of the killings, a Mississippi jury, citing insufficient evidence for a murder conviction, found Killen guilty of manslaughter. The killings helped galvanize support for passage of the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 and Voting Rights Act of 1965.
Here's a poem for today by Thomas R. Smith entitled The Return, with a quote from the Koran: "Unto him all things return." Walking on the park road early morning summer solstice, we came to a place in the still shaded cool where, looking up a grassy hillside, we could see through a gap in the trees the rising sun. Burning clear with all heat and strength befitting the day of its longest domination, the sun, boiling from that high nest of foliage, lit a silver swath of sparkling, dew-bent grasses all the way down the drenched slope. So brilliant was that carpet of light, the sun unrolled down the hill to our feet. We stopped where we were and sat a while in pure wonder. And I remembered an old secret promise, deemed unwise to speak, though who could deny it, seeing these folk, humble yet adorned, nodding together on their way back to the sun. And soon enough, we got up again and wandered on into whatever we had to do on that day, though not unchanged, having accompanied a little distance on the morning road of their return, those illuminated pilgrims. The Return by Thomas R. Smith, from The Foot of the Rainbow, published by Red Dragonfly Press and used by permission here on the Writer's Almanac, funded by donations from listeners like you, now available on PRX for distribution by your local radio station. Be well, do good work, and keep in touch.